All right, listeners, we're back with Wise Guy Sports with your hosts Wilson Jackson and Julius Kizzy. And bringing on our first guest of the show today, we have Mr. Chip Lindsey, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach for the Southern Miss football team. How you doing, Coach Lindsey?
Doing great.
You know, we struggled the last 3 years, to be honest with you.
Right.
How do you feel you, as coach, offensive coordinator, the guy behind the show of the office, how are you feeling about the season so far?
We're excited. We feel really good about where we are and where we're headed. That's the biggest thing, I think. For various reasons, the last couple of years, when you go through coaching changes and different things, there's factors that are involved in that. And the exciting thing is that we got all our guys back basically from last year. I think we graduated 11 seniors, and really on offense, probably one in the top 22 that plays. So that's exciting from an offensive coordinator standpoint. Is you got a lot of guys back, and there's nothing like experience in college football.
Right,
and
it's critical.
Coach Munkin came in here and really did a good job, really, of kind of coming in and having to make some changes, some tough decisions on personnel, and some guys weren't bought in, some guys weren't as committed as you'd like. So, he wasn't afraid to make those decisions to try to get it right, because he wants to be here and for the long haul and get it done right. And we think we've laid a really good groundwork for that. Got a lot of guys back. Thought we did a really good job in recruiting on filling in spots that we needed.
Exactly.
And so, and a lot of those guys, the good thing about it, of the 24 guys we end up signing, I think 11 are already here on campus, which is huge.
It's huge.
Because now you get to go into spring ball with 70-plus guys. Last year, we're in the high 50s, low 60s. And it's hard to practice. You can't create the competition. It's hard to do different things, and then I think we're excited too, because for the first time since Coach Munkin's been here, we're going to be right at 85 scholarships,
exactly,
which is where you're supposed to be. And I think last year we were around 72. So it is what it is. The exciting thing is where we're going, and our team is just really excited about getting ready to start spring practice here in a few weeks.
How do you feel the offense has progressed as long as you've been here? And even let me ask you this before I even get to that. You're a pretty high riser as a coach. You were just at high school, and then you went to the collegiate level, and then you came here. How do you feel like your coaching progress has progressed so quickly?
Well, I think just lucky. Just being around people that you got to know in the profession. I was fortunate enough to have some good high school players that were heavily recruited. Philip Lutzenkirk being one, a kid that played for me over in Georgia who ended up playing at Auburn, became a legend there. And I got into college that first year in 2010 by going to Troy University, because we were involved in the same offense, the air raid, the same thing that we do here.
Right.
And Neil Brown, who's the head coach there now, left and went to Texas Tech. They needed a quarterback coach who knew the offense, and a friend of mine now, Kenny Edenfield, who he and I already have a relationship. He became the coordinator, and boom, there I was in college football. And at that time, my wife is she works. We have 4 kids, and it was a great fit for her. She was able to transfer into a job there, and then that job goes under, and she gets a job in Birmingham, which is about 2 hours away from Troy. So I had to make a decision. Hey, do I want to separate from my family just to stay in college football, or so I went back to high school for a couple of years and really was done until Coach Malzahn got to Auburn, and he hired me there. He was going to hire a couple of high school guys. He's kind of known for that, and he's an old high school coach really too. And our family kind of made a decision. Hey, if you're going to go to Auburn and do this, then we're going to make a run in college football and see where it goes from here. And then luckily after 1 year, Coach Munkin hired me, and I'm back on the field, and it's excited, and I'm excited to be here.
Right. All right. Now, seeing that we're talking about your high school career, you had a 2-year stint at Spain Park High School in Alabama, which is the same high school that Nick Mullins went to. Talk about the advantage of being able to coach him in high school and where he's going now, and what you've seen so far at Southern Miss.
Yeah, and that's really how my relationship with Coach Munkin started. Obviously, I knew who he was, as successful as he was at Oklahoma State, and he'd been in the NFL and LSU. So when he recruited Nick and John Wozniak, our receiver coach, special teams coordinator, they started recruiting Nick. And the benefit was being at places I'd been in Troy and in high school would run the air raid offense, which Nick already knew. And I think at the time Coach Munkin got here, they were in transition looking for a quarterback. And Nick was a guy who came in and would already be ahead of the curve learning and so forth. So it was a great fit for him. We hit it off, talked a lot of football during all that recruiting stuff, stayed in touch the year I was at Auburn. And, Spain Park was a great experience for me because it was an opportunity to be a head coach at a high level in high school in Alabama. And, a lot of good times there, good people there, and enjoyed my time there for sure.
Speaking of Nick Mullins, you got the Matthews kid coming from TCU. When he was sitting behind Boykins, how do you feel like the quarterback competition is going to help Nick or provide that Matthews is the best quarterback moving forward?
Well, I think it'll be a great competition, and that's what you want in college football. I mean, the places I've been that we've been pretty good at, Auburn and Troy, and even in high school, you always had some competition. Maybe not a quarterback in high school. You usually got one guy that's pretty good, But every college team I've been on, their competition is what has been the thing that I think makes every day in practice that much better. And Nick has no trouble with that, and Tyler has been great. Our quarterback room, all four of those quarterbacks, Parker Adamson and Gunnar Roach and Tyler and Nick Mullins, we all have a great relationship, and it's a neat thing to see those guys compete. They're all great kids, great students, and a lot of fun to be around. And this spring's gonna be interesting because we're gonna definitely let those two guys compete along with Parker, and I think Parker's a guy that's improved tremendously, and since I've been here for sure, and just like I said, at all positions we hope to create a lot of competition.
During the games, when you see Mullins struggling, when you see another quarterback struggling, whenever Mullins got hurt, do you ever feel like you want to, not, I won't say yank the guy, but even when they're struggling, the games are out of reach, how some games have been over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever feel like you should insert another guy just to see what he's got?
I think each situation is different. I mean, you're looking at kind of talking in broad strokes there, so I don't know exactly. Each week we make a decision based on the situation that's going on that week. For instance, a guy may not be 100% healthy. A guy may not in our case, but he could have a discipline issue. But anywhere in the country, I think each coach, that's something that you have a plan for, but you're not planning for an opportunity to play your backup guy unless the situation arises. And I think you take each of them independently, and the thing that I think is pretty neat is those guys should always be ready and be prepared, and whenever they get their time. And this is college football. I mean, it's not one of these deals at Pop Warner or Youth League where everybody gets to play and all those things. So, and quarterback's one of those positions that some people have done it and been successful, but you don't just rotate guys series and things. And so we need to have a great competition this spring and into fall camp, and I got a feeling that it's gonna be a really tight race.
All right, now we know how good Nick Mullins has been and what he's going to do in the upcoming season, but how important will the offensive line be in terms of his success going on into next season?
That's a great point. There's no doubt in any offense, the offensive line is the key. I mean, the quarterbacks can be a great player, but we got to have protection, and we got to be able to run the ball. That's one of the things. We want to play more up tempo than we have probably in the past, because now we have some depth. We weren't able to do that in the past. This past year, for sure, the year I was here. That's something that Coach Monken believes in. He did at Oklahoma State, and that I've done everywhere I've been, and that's why he and I are kind of aligned the same philosophically. But you can't run yourself in the ground when you don't have a lot of depth. So that's one of the things that we thought we addressed in recruiting, and we're excited about some competition in the O-line as well. And the most important thing is we get a group of 5 guys who have some continuity up there and can work together, and I think if we do that and find the right 5 guys, and you're going to need 8 or 9 because you're going to get
some injuries.
I mean, up front, those guys they take a beating. So you're going to need 8 or 9 guys that are ready to really play at this level. So hopefully we've got that situation taken care of now, and now we can just work on getting better each day.
Maybe if you could just talk a little bit about a few of the recruits that you brought in from the offensive line.
I want to ask you about Julian Allen and Taylor Marini and how they're going to fit in the offense.
Yeah, that's a great question. We did sign 2 tight ends. We didn't have any tight ends. That's something that I guess previous staffs had not recruited as well as in this offense. If you go back and really look, it basically kind of originated at BYU with Lavelle Edwards back in the 90s, and then in Ty Detmer and all those quarterbacks that came through there. Okay, well then when Hal Mumme went to Kentucky, he is a guy that had studied Lavelle Edwards, who Coach Mumme's, I know him pretty good. He's a good friend, and he went there and really he played with a tight end all the time. He had a tight end, and they flexed him some, and they attached him some, and they played him in the backfield some, and that's really the origination of the offense. So we're excited about having Taylor and Julian, and we think they're going to bring a unique take on our offense or a unique look to our offense, but really it's back to the origin of the offense.
Would you ever feel like that they can play in the game together when it's a single back set with double tight end, or do you ever feel like it has to be in the air raid and they'll just split out wide in the flex, or they'll just be attached to the offensive line?
No, I think people there's a misnomer about air raids always flex and always this or that. It's really not about that. There's definitely times we're going to want both of them in the game, and I think those are things that we'll kind of sort through this spring. We hadn't been on the field with them yet, so you're trying to figure out who can do what and what the best fit is, but I think that's definitely something that we're going to look at is somehow getting them both on the field together at times.
Short-term answer, what are your goals for the offense this year?
I think our goal is to obviously we want to win the game. I don't care how many yards we throw for or run for, we want to win.
Right.
And I think the short-term goals for us are to improve each week. That's the biggest thing. Take care of what we can control and stay healthy, not turn the ball over. And if we'll do those things, I think we'll have a great year.
Looking forward to state?
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a lot of fun here now.
It is.
I know these folks around campus are excited, and our guys are excited too. So really looking forward to it.
All right, Mr. Lindsey, we want to thank you again for coming on the show.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Lindsey.
It was really, really good.